Hey everyone, welcome to That Level Podcast, episode 43. This week we're just going to kind of, talk about what's been going on, me getting over COVID, stuff going on in their lives, what we've been watching, playing, whatever. However the direction of the story goes, we hope you enjoy. So, COVID was fun.
So it actually did get confirmed that you had it, because the last time we talked, you didn't have it.
Well, I tested myself Wednesday, and then I got the confirmation.
Nice.
And then, Wednesday was pretty interesting. It was like a really bad sinus infection with, soreness and body aches. And I just couldn't sleep. So, I called out and stuff, and then slept most of the day, got up, did a little bit of things here and there, kind of ate. What else? Just this whole routine of like not being able to sleep at night just because of how it just messes with you, and then trying to keep it out of my lungs, and then staying up a little bit because I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And then repeat the process again, call out because I just couldn't. I couldn't focus on a whole lot. There would be moments of time where I would be normal as far as like in the brain, because, it's like you've got that mental fog, and it really takes a lot out of you. I think Friday was one of the worst because I felt like I was getting better on Thursday, and then Friday happened. I was like, nope, I can't. I just couldn't. So I missed 3 days of work, but luckily I got it out of my lungs. I mean, it didn't go in there, so that was a good thing, being asthmatic. And then Edward was funny because Edward tested positive on Monday because he wasn't feeling good from Sunday into Monday. Had a fever, and then was having like a headache and stomach pains. So we thought it was a stomach bug or something like that he got from school, or maybe his therapy. And then, like, by Wednesday, he was all ready to go back to school, and was like nothing was wrong with him. I was like, wow, how fast did he just like bust through COVID? And then Anna got it Tuesday and wasn't feeling good, and she was done by Thursday, almost Friday, and I was chugging along from Wednesday on. But
yeah, man, it's weird. You just never know how it's gonna hit you. It'll go from, some people it's barely anything. Like I had it twice, right? And both times it was just a little bit of congestion. It was all in here. Never had the aches, never had fever, never had like anything else. It was just a congestion with a little drainage. That was it, right? And we went in. It was in the heart of when everything was going on, and in order to access the site that I'm at, we have to like go through a little thing. You got to answer the question. Even now, we still go through. You got to ask the questions. Any signs or symptoms, any family member with signs and symptoms, all that good stuff, right? And so, since I knew, I'm a little congested at the time, it was when the outbreaks and all that were still big. So sent home, tested, it was like, there's no way, right? The whole family got tested. They all came back negative. I came back positive. It was like, you gotta be kidding. And then I want to say 6 months later, same thing, just a little bit of congestion. Had to get tested again. So came back positive again. I'm almost positive at this point that I'm just going to be positive forever with it. It's what it feels like, because it feels like I haven't had a negative test, which is a little annoying, but it is what it is. But thankfully, at least for me, it's never been bad. One of my coworkers, it hit him really hard to the point where he had to like go get that antibody treatment or whatever. I mean, like he was bad. He was out of work for like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, just knocked him out, not just completely knocked him on his ass. And thankfully he was like, it was later in the pandemic, so they had a lot of stuff to give him that sorted him out pretty quick. But yeah, he was rough for a good long while.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is like for me, losing your voice, because it's just you're coughing so much and everything in the drainage. And then, but no, it wasn't like no fever, no vomiting, no flavor loss or anything like that. Yeah, none of the weirder symptoms that I heard of.
I think the worst symptom, or I don't know if it's a symptom or if it's an after effect that I've heard of, right? Everybody talks about the loss of smell, right? Loss of taste. But I've heard that of the small percentage that get that, right, that lose their smell or their taste, there's an even smaller percentage subset of people that they get it to where something about it has something to do with, I think, in their nose, but it causes everything to taste like rancid garbage. Like not just garbage, but just outright, it's rancid. And I think it varies from person to person. I know one guy I heard about, it was just like any kind of meat, just about any kind of meat, chicken, beef, whatever, didn't matter. Bit into it immediately. It didn't matter how he cooked it, didn't matter what he put on it, what he did to it. It just constantly had this rancid taste. And I think that the solution to it is they give you like some kind of nasal steroids, and whatever it is, whatever that does, it eventually clears it up. But of all the things I've heard about from this disease, that is the one that I'm glad I've never gotten, because that sounds horrific.
Yeah.
Horrible. Yeah, man. You gotta have our meat, man. You gotta have meat.
I didn't have much as long as the actual effects go and stuff like that. I ended up with a lot of the side effects, the tiredness, the achiness, and once in a while I would randomly smell piss. It smelled like cat spray, strong.
Oh, so you were like
just randomly.
Smell?
Yeah, just randomly it would just pop up. No matter where I was, I smelled it.
Yeah.
And they said that was a weird small percentage of people, and I'm like, oh, wonderful. But I already have RA, so the after effects of achy body plus RA, yeah, that wasn't wonderful. So
yeah, I'll definitely do it.
What was it? Yeah, and that was one of the things too. Is like, was it Friday? I had a breathing treatment just to kind of clear things up a little bit. And man, it's one of the stronger doses of like albuterol and can't remember the other one. It's like a combo pack. So it's the regular saline plus the steroid.
Okay.
And it made me like have like really bad jittery shakes. I was like, Anna was like, "Are you cold? Do you have a fever?" "Nope, you don't have a fever." I'm like, babe, I'm not cold at all. It's just, it's like what it does to your lungs. You get like, I was like, man, but it helped. I could breathe the whole way. No trouble breathing. It was just like, and I wanted to deny it. I was like, no, I'm not gonna get this. No, I'm strong. I'm not gonna get this. And when you live in a small house with your son who's bouncing around, kissing on you, because he's just like, "I love you, Daddy," and even just on your shirt or something, it's like, "I love you too, son." All right, well, I'm just gonna roll with this and we'll go. And like we slept in two different rooms. I slept in the bedroom, and either slept with Edward on the bunk bed or on the couch. It all depended. I tried to have her switch. She goes, "No, we need to separate, and make sure we stay in the same rooms that we're staying in, so that we were not re-affecting ourselves." And I was like, "Yeah, totally, I totally get you." But as soon as this is over, it was like spray, clean everything up, spray everything with Lysol.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it's over.
Yeah.
For now, hopefully, because this is going to be one of those things that we're just going to be stuck with, like the flu.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Microban. That stuff became my best friend.
Okay.
Lasts 24 hours per spray.
Well, I was taking like zinc, B12, Zyrtec, and then vitamin C pills, and that was what got me through this.
Man. Just a little bit of everything.
Well, I just take it in the morning. You only have to do that, and you're good to go. Have it with breakfast. But didn't even lose my appetite. I figured that would help. Kind of. Oh yeah, this is the weight loss time. No, I was still hungry. Stomach was like, you still need to feed me. And then
Feed me.
But yeah, no, I'm just missing work though. I think was the hardest because there was times like I felt like I could work, but then I was like, no, I don't want to chance it. There's no reason why I should have to try to push through to do this, but I missed time. I did. I don't have my time just reset on the 15th, so I hit 16 years at my job, and then I think I had that one good week of work, so I only accrued like 6 hours, and so like I had enough for one day of me being sick. So Thursday and Friday, just to get paid for. So it's gonna be one of those little struggles of not having a full paycheck this week, but what can I do?
Yeah.
So how did y'all's week go for last week besides all that?
This.
Yeah.
So what all exactly are you doing to that thing? Like I saw the
I
pictures.
completely tore it all apart. Broke it all completely down, rewired it, removed stuff, compacted stuff way over here. Complete rebuild. So now everything's on one level, and instead of all over the place and giving me the neck sweats and all that crap. So this has been basically my whole week.
Man.
Yeah. Like I was telling Vinny, I just put on different stuff to watch. I put on Goodfellas. I'm like, okay, that'll kill 3 hours. Then I binge watch season 3 of Doom Patrol. Then I binge watch all of Moon Knight. So if I had known there was going to be a quiz on Stranger Things, I would have started that.
We'll wait on that.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you guys, we'll wait till you finish watching it. David still needs to watch season 4. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I honestly completely missed the fact that it had come out. Like, it didn't even register. But it's the funny thing is I was thinking about it, and it's honestly been a while since I've actually been on Netflix to watch anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the heck is it? We started watching a while back. We were watching What We Do in the Shadows, which is on Hulu. There's been a random sprinkling of things on HBO. I started Tokyo Vice this weekend, so I haven't gotten very far in that, but I at least started it. Honestly, the streaming service I probably get the most mileage out of right now is Shudder. Joe Bob's doing his back to doing a series every Friday, so I'll sit down and knock out whatever 2 movies they were showing on Friday over the course of the weekend and make it pretty good. So yeah, just Stranger Things came out and went, and I didn't really hear a whole lot of talk about it. There's one guy at work that's like a big Stranger Things fan, so he usually talks to me about that kind of stuff. So I was kind of surprised he didn't hit me up this week or last week to talk about it at all. So, oh well. I'll get to it. I promise.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I just figured it'd be great for us to talk about the 4th season and kind of like, since Colin hasn't started the series at all, kind of like pick his brain on what he thinks about it. Because to me, I think it fits right in my dad, Uncle Mike, Colin, Uncle Randy and all them, just what they went through. It's like watching them as kids.
Yeah.
And it'll also be kind of interesting to see somebody's take on it that's not in the heat of the zeitgeist, right? It was like when that first season came out, everybody was talking about it. Everybody was about it. There was all this buzz. And same thing with like season 2, season 3. I don't remember being as big of a deal for most people, but at least seeing somebody who's not having to hear everyone talk about it every 5 minutes everywhere you go, right? Or ask about it. It's like get an interesting, fresh set of eyes on the series and see how it comes across.
Well, when we had season 3, we were kind of in the middle of the beginning of COVID, so probably why we didn't hear a whole lot of people talking about it.
Oh, damn. I was about to say something and I realized it was going to be a spoiler. I was going to say, the one thing that they got really wrong, and then I was about to give a spoiler for season 2, but I'll leave that alone.
Yeah. We can't talk
Enjoy,
about that.
Colin.
The only thing I remember at this point about Stranger Things is the monster in season 1 when they finally revealed it. And I've only got a slight image of it in my head. Otherwise, anything I might have heard or learned about it is gone.
Mhm.
So
That's the best way to go into it, man.
yeah.
It's like a video game, right? Whenever you realize that you just started like the first 2-3 levels, and then you get into it, you realize you've completely forgotten all the controls, you've completely forgotten all the tutorial stuff. You don't really remember how anything functions or works.
You don't know what quest you're on or where to go next.
Yeah, and it's one of the older games that doesn't give you the little icons or the little journal notes to even clue you in where to go. You just open it up, and you're like, oh shit, I'm on an island, but I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah.
All this stuff and the rum's gone. Why is the rum gone?
I mean, did I do the quest to get the rum and then I drank it all, or do I need to go quest for the rum? Like which is it?
Did I need the rum to light the fire?
How do I drink the rum? Is it X? Is it Y? What do I press?
With my luck, I'd push a button. It would be like an airplane.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Oh man,
That's when my drinking problems began.
it's like I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue. Yeah. I mean, aside from catching up on that, my brother and his family came by. It'd be Memorial Day weekend and all, and the movie's came out back in February, but I think it must have just hit home video. But my brother's this humongous Foo Fighters fan, right? Like giant Foo Fighters fan.
Studio
And-
666.
And Foo put out the movie for their new album, Studio 666, and it's something. I had fun, right? It's like it's not some deep interest. No, it's just Foo Fighters made a horror movie. Take that how you will. The effects for it are honestly surprisingly pretty good. There's a couple kills in it. There's one kill in particular in that movie that I was not ready for. I mean, I knew it was coming, but when it happened, and then when everything completely unfolded, I was laughing my ass off. It was pretty good. I liked it.
Is that on any streaming service? Do you know, or did he bring over like a DVD or something?
He brought over a Blu-ray.
Oh,
My brother and I are very bad about owning things.
No.
So yeah, he came by with it, right? It was like I was talking to before we went on the long weekend, I had some coworkers and we were all sitting around talking about movies and upcoming stuff, and somebody brought up the new Elvis movie that's coming out.
okay.
And I don't remember how we got that deep into the topic of Elvis, but it brought up Bubba Hotep, and I explained to them the plot for Bubba Hotep, right? And they were pretty interested, and they're like, "Man, where can I watch this?" I was like, "I have no idea because I own it, so I know how to watch it." I walk over to my bookshelf and I pull it down out of the bees, and go pop it in and run. But I did notice over the weekend when I was looking through Amazon Prime that it is on Amazon Prime, so I forgot to update them on that today. I'll have to go let them know, hey, if you want to watch a weird Bruce Campbell movie about Elvis Presley and JFK fighting a mummy, just go check out Amazon Prime. It'll I can't promise it'll be worth your time, because I always feel like movies like that are, if you're not in the right headspace or you just don't have the right sense of humor, it's just not going to land with you. But I'll let him try it out. He seems like the kind of type that might enjoy it.
But it's great, man.
Wasn't 3,000 miles to Graceland about Elvis impersonators committing crimes?
Yes, another fantastic movie.
So
I've not seen that one, but that sounds pretty good.
it's supposed to be about
Russell.
I think yeah,
Kevin Costner.
Kurt Russell, man.
It's great.
I wanted to see it, but I've never gotten around to see it.
A
Yes.
second Kurt Russell as Elvis movie?
Yes.
Yeah, as Elvis impersonators, and they go around committing crimes, kind of like using the president's masks and what was it, Point Break?
Yeah, Point Break. Yeah.
Yeah, but the only thing is they were all Elvis impersonators, and they were going and doing this thing.
Good Lord.
Dude, hold on.
He's looking it up.
No, I'm gonna just tell you this, right? You got Courtney Cox, you got David Arquette, you got, Christian Slater, you got John Lovitz. Dude, I mean, like it's just a great movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check this out now.
I love you. You're so hot on that show.
I like how Rotten Tomatoes has it at 14%.
Oh, come on.
Nice. Well, so
Wow.
so just looking at Google, the breakdown is IMDb has it at a 5.9, Rotten Tomatoes has it at 14%, Metacritic has it at 21%, but Google users 84% like this movie. So
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, that's
it's
people
it's
just
one of
didn't
those
like it.
things.
They just couldn't handle the epicness of this movie. I mean, come on, it came out in 2001. It was just perfect.
Again, but that's what I'm talking about, right? Like Bubba Hotep, they're just you never know what type of people are going to gravitate towards certain types of cult films, right? Like it just, if you just are not of the right mindset to walk into something like that and like it, it's just, you're not going to come away with it very well, right? It's like there's some people that you can tell, hey, you need to go watch, again, like a Bubba Hotep, or God, what's another, like a Frankenhooker type movie. And
Yes.
Tammy and the T-Rex, and they'll like go into it and come out and go, man, that was actually pretty damn funny. Or Studio 666, right? They'll come out of it and they'll love it. And then other people will come out of it and say, I don't know what the hell that was, and it was a waste of my time.
Yeah, and what's wrong with you for liking this movie?
Yeah. Well, so I had that moment with a movie a handful of years ago. It was what was it called? This Is the End, with Michael Cera and Seth Rogen and all those guys.
Yeah.
They were playing themselves, and like the end of the world happened and all that stuff. And there were so many people that loved the ever living crap out of that movie. Oh man, this is one of the funniest movies in like the last 10 years, blah, blah. I went in there. I was like, okay. I'll check this out. I watched it. And I came out of it. I was like, there was one scene that made me laugh. And it was with Channing Tatum being the gimp, basically. And outside of that, that movie did not land with me whatsoever.
Was that the one where he had My Name is Jeff? Was that thing?
I honestly don't remember. The two things I remember about it was, I'm sorry, there are three things I remember about it. Michael Cera being a weird, like, perverted kind of dude. Channing Tatum being a gimp to the guy from Eastbound and Down. And then the devil getting his manhood lopped off by a beam of light. That's about what I remember from that movie.
So a lightsaber?
No, because it wasn't a saber. It was a column of light. That was it.
Oh, okay.
No saber attached. Although, speaking of lightsabers, the wife and I, because she didn't realize that Kenobi was out, and so she wanted, whenever she realized it was out, she's like, "Oh, have you watched it yet?" I was like, "No," and she's like, "Do you want to?" I was like, "I guess." I was a little. I've been a little let down lately, so we'll go into it. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, knocked out the first two episodes of that. it's better than Boba Fett so far.
Yeah, it is
Like,
much better than Boba Fett.
I'm still reserving my judgment, but so far it's been enjoyable. They've been doing a pretty good job of it.
It has the feel, like I'm watching something that came after, the prequels.
It is definitely doing a better service to his character, right? Like the because of the story that we know of Ben, right? The fact that he is hesitant to, he's not running out there to go save everybody immediately. He's reluctant to do certain things, and you can see it more in him that he wants to act, but he knows he needs to hold himself back for the greater good or whatever. And that plays a lot better with him, right? It plays a hell, like whenever he delivers that line of like the time of the Jedi is over, all that moment lands so much better than what we got in Last Jedi with Luke, right?
Oh
like
yeah.
that didn't make sense, but here it makes perfect sense because he has no real reason to hope. He's just trying to fulfill this promise, this duty to watch over the kids, right? And that's his focus. So yeah, so far been really it's been a fairly enjoyable ride up through this moment, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those moments when we get to see him ignite his lightsaber. We're gonna be like, oh man, And I don't like the third sister. Man, she's a great villain. It's like I just don't. Yeah. She's one of those people I just like. I want her to die because she doesn't exist after this, and that's like she just plays this great. The actress is great. She plays this very hateable villain, and it's like what the series needs. But it's like I hate her.
And honestly, right, so far I'm actually really curious where her animus towards Kenobi comes from, right? Because they've established it already. Like she is like laser focused on trying to find
Kenobi,
Obi-Wan, right? And they haven't really explained why. But and this is where, so this is a perfect example of where Obi-Wan is doing a good job of usage of flashbacks, where Boba Fett's usage of flashbacks did absolutely nothing towards the story, right?
It distracted.
Right. And so it's going on. So, and that's where I'm really curious because, the whole thing opens with the younglings. And so part of me is thinking that the third sister is probably one of those younglings.
She's supposed to be. I know. I haven't looked into this. I'm just kind of going to it blind. I know Dad was talking to me a little bit about it, but it's like, I want to, I'm just going to watch it and then I'll make my judgment.
But I mean, just thinking about it, right? Just from what they've been showing so far, that seems to be what they're leaning towards. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And that's where it's built in this neat little mystery of, okay, here are these younglings, and then you don't see what happens to them. We know what should happen to them, right? And now all of a sudden you have this character that has this insane hate on for Kenobi that we have no history for. And so it's like, okay, they're not explicitly like trying to lay it on thick of, man, hey everybody, there's this big mystery over here you need to come check out. It's the characters and they're playing to who they are, and because of that, if you're paying attention, you have that kind of, it starts building that question of, man, why the hell does she hate him so much? And so yeah, again, my complaints for what was in Boba Fett are not present here, and I'm very grateful for that. So far, they still got time.
It's like
time to screw stuff up.
We know that, we know that whatever she tries is not going to work on Kenobi. We know that Kenobi's going to be fine. We know that Leia is going to be fine. We know that Luke's going to be fine. So, it's like, okay, we're going to the Titanic. We know the Titanic's going to sink. It's just, we're just going to watch these characters and how they go, because they didn't exist.
How can we wrap a mediocre love story around it to make people pay billions to come see this?
No, and I think the actress is doing very well. I have no problem with her. Just her character, man. It's just well written. I just feel that, she is
No, you're right. I mean, she's an absolutely hateable villain, which is great.
Which is great, yeah. That's not what Kylo Ren was. He wasn't this hateable villain at all.
He was a mopey, whiny little emo teenager.
Yeah, he was an emo guy that
I mean, in fairness,
just couldn't get over his angst, man.
Look, in fairness, he wanted to be like his grandfather, and he was nailing it.
Oh
He
yeah,
just
yeah.
he just needed to hate
wrong-
sand. He needed to hate sand more. That's all.
The wrong version of his father, his grandfather. He wanted to be like Darth Vader, but he was being more like Anakin.
Yeah, absolutely. See, that's what it was. See, look at that, guys. We just showed
We broke the
how
code, man. We broke the code.
the sequel trilogy is actually brilliant.
No, it's not. No, that is god
Come
awful.
on. I'm curious when the sequel trilogy apologists will appear, right? It's like now we have all the prequel trilogy apologists that for years it was like, man, the prequels are terrible. There were so many people that were like, the prequels are terrible. And now all of a sudden everybody's like, oh no, the prequels are great. What are y'all talking about? It's like, where were you doing this defense like
Yeah, like back in 2001.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, they had their moments, sure, but I don't remember anyone singing the praises of the Phantom Menace this hard.
Mhm.
So nobody loved Jar Jar Binks.
No. He was the worst character to ever be put. Well, I don't want to say the worst character ever to be put in Star Wars, at least in the movies so far.
I mean,
Outside of, well, I'm sticking to the first 6 because I'm
Yeah.
sure that there's some people in the later 3 that could be argued are worse. But
yeah, I mean, granted, Jar Jar's no Ewoks Christmas, but still, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it was funny because while watching Obi, my wife, I have to keep reminding her of this. I don't know why. It's ever since I was a kid, I just love the Jawas. I don't care about the Ewoks. I don't care about Chewie. I love the Jawas, and I don't know why. Weird little hooded figures with their glowing eyes and
Yeah,
just stealing shit, saying
Yeah, man.
MTV for everything.
yeah.
great.
Why is there no Jawa series?
That's right.
I
wanna
would
see
watch
all
6 or
about
8
Jawa.
episodes of just Jawas going and just dismantling and stealing and zapping shit.
Yeah, it's like, and
There
it's
doesn't
selling
even have to be a plot line to it. It's just what
Yeah.
they do.
exactly. They
I'd
steal
watch it.
somebody's moisture evaporators and stuff, and they sell it right back to them.
That's right.
Take
At
my money.
discount- at not at hyped up prices. That's right.
Yeah.
They're the oh dang it. They're the Ferengi of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Just take my money. That's all.
Could you imagine them opening a gambling casino?
You're inside gambling. They're outside taking apart your vehicle.
Of course, yeah.
And then
It's
you
like, we give you
That's
money,
what
so you give it back to us.
we got to stick with the like Asian themed stuff to all of it though. I want to see them go into like the gambling den of the Jawas, and like this one Jawa comes walking in his little cloak and everything, right? And then traditional old like Japanese style, he like takes it off and he's like ripped and tatted out with like dragons.
Yeah,
and
like
focus and
Yakuza.
everything. And sits down and they play a game of Chohan. Heck yeah, man. That's what I want. That'd be good.
It'd be
Yes.
sabak, man. It would be sabak, dude.
We need to set. I need this Jawa lore to be real now.
That's right, man. And have different color ones like they have the
Yeah.
ninjas. That's
That's right.
red, black, blue, brown. You know, if you have
Could
a black Jawa coming at you, all black, and you're in the darkness, all you see are 2 eyes.
Two
That-
glowing yellow eyes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the little cattle prod thing,
So
Yes.
everything
Could you-
from the
could
waist
you-
down is fair game.
could you imagine a sandcrawler casino, and it's got the the flashing neon lights and everything as it's coming off the sand? And- oh
It's like that.
Oh,
What was it? Episode of Trigun, right? There was
Yeah.
that whole episode of Trigun where they were out there on that giant casino.
mhm.
What was it? It was it was like a moving casino that they were on out in the middle of the desert. If I remember right.
Yeah.
It was the that transport train that had like casinos and all that stuff
Yes.
Yeah.
with brilliant man, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Was
Dude,
it Brilliant
it's
Lights
so-
Neon or something like that?
It's been so long since I watched
Yeah.
Trigun. Holy crap, man!
But
You know,
Years.
speaking of trains that were basically rolling casinos, there was an episode of Black Dynamite that did that. They had like a pimp convention, and the whole thing took place on this train. It was fantastic. Oh, so much fun, so much debauchery.
You know,
That's
that's one
That's
thing.
another series. That's another series that just didn't get its due. And calling back to a couple of episodes back, that's a thing I would love to see as a game. Black Dynamite, the animated version. Black Dynamite, the game, man, where you have the whole, you got to save the Horfanarium and everything.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
I'll be done with that. I want it. And whenever it gets to the point where you got to figure out the Mars Candy Company, it actually is like this giant ornate puzzle that you're trying to figure out. Like it turns into like Phoenix Wright type stuff, right? Where you gotta like present your evidence and they object to each other and back and forth. And that's how you realize what Little Richard.
It comes with the deluxe edition comes with an afro. You put Amazon used to sell these inflatable afros. That would just be so perfect for it. I have to find a picture of it, send it to you so you can put it up here in post. Literally, it turned your head. It looked like a helmet from one of the assholes in Spaceballs. It's big and round and smooth, and you just put it on your head, and it looks like one of those helmets. It's gorgeous.
Very nice.
But put that in the deluxe edition.
We were just talking about that this weekend. The whole what is it? The late 80s, early 90s perm. You know how all guys.
Yeah.
That's like, man, I have a picture of my dad from back at Easter, and he got a perm, and his hair is just like.
You know where the perm is still staying strong. I talked about it the other day. Where the perm is strong. I mean, I didn't talk about the perm side of it, but where the perm is strong are all these rednecks that have mullets, right?
Yes.
Like hardcore mullets. Because man, they got the nice permed up hair that just sweeps back into the
mountain waterfall.
The nonsense going on in the back there. And again went to a friend's graduation or a friend's kid's graduation. Fathers, brothers, mothers, uncles, sisters, second half cousin.
You are your own grandpa.
That's right. I sit there and I look, and sure enough, like everywhere, I'm looking around, just dudes like completely shaved on the side, right? Like all the way back, and then just poof, just pompadour right here into the sweep. Like just slip and slide right down the back. I'm like, what is going on? Where? Uh-oh, calm down.
There's your episode title. He's gone. You broke him. Are you happy?
That's right.
There's your episode title. Perma Strong, the slip and slide of hairdos.
So sometimes when I'm coughing or I'm still coughing up junk that's in my lungs. So you had me rolling there for.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I had to pause everything, just like.
Oh my
God. No, so it's like, you want a playground equipment, right?
Daddy, I want to go on the slide. That's your Uncle Bobby.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh geez.
It's rough stuff, man.
And there go the rails.
So where are we going with this episode now? No.
I think we've accomplished it.
We're going wherever the trail leads us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, speaking of Black Dynamite, a handful of years back, Michael Jai White has started a Indiegogo, I think, trying to get money because he was trying to do a spiritual sequel to Black Dynamite that was going to be a Western. It was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm curious, and unfortunately, it didn't get funded, and I don't know what's happened to it, but. Yeah, it's just like one of those series that you're like, and I figured there would have been some pretty good, hype behind it because it was the Adult Swim series, all that. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess
two seasons of it, and it just wasn't enough.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
Um,
the whole episode with the Michael Jacksons. Mama say, Mama sa, Mama makusa. You know, just can't like 100 of them. Just. I could talk about that all day. I love that show so much.
yeah, I definitely I started watching because I forgot that at the same time that Stranger Things and Kenobi came out was also Ghost in the Shell second season.
Really?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, whenever I you were talking about Stranger Things being on, I popped on Netflix and I saw Ghost in the Shell up. I don't think I watched. So there's that CG series by Netflix, but before that it was what, Arise?
Yeah, Arise. So Arise was a retelling of the series, but as if it was them starting out for the first time.
So I remember watching, I think, the first two parts of that, and then I could never find the third for some reason, or maybe I watched the first and the third, but I couldn't find the second. It was weird. I could never figure out which one was chronologically next. So I know I watched 2 of the 3, but I never got to all of them.
Yeah.
But they were pretty good. I enjoyed
Oh
them
yeah,
all.
definitely. And then the CGI series is actually a sequel to Standalone Complex and Second Gig. So
That's cool.
Yeah. And hold on.
Okay then.
All righty. Standalone Complex.
But yeah, I finally got caught up on Moon Knight.
How'd you find it?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm still looking for that next big Marvel thing that's gonna really grab me and just keep a hold of me throughout the whole thing. But as far as Marvel goes, it kept the standard. I mean, I do wish there was a little more Moon Knight in it. You know, actual Moon Knight.
Yeah, there's only like what, 4 minutes of him total throughout the entire
I don't know.
show?
I mean, the last episode when at the end when they're bouncing between Moon Knights, that was pretty good. I actually enjoyed that. You know, and it left it open ended, of course. So, but I don't know. I'm still waiting for that. I mean, Shang-Chi came close. I will admit I did thoroughly enjoy Shang-Chi.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen Spider-Man and I have not seen Doctor Strange yet, but I know way too much about it already, so it's not going to grab me. Thank you, Internet.
No, it'll grab you. It's still watching. Reading it and watching it are two different things.
No, when I say I've seen too much, I mean, I didn't like go and download or anything.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that people have put so many screenshots and little clips up there, I unfortunately have seen too much. You know, the newness of it is not going to be there. I will still watch it and I will still thoroughly enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still waiting for that next big thing. I mean, WandaVision grabbed me pretty good.
Yeah, that was great.
You know, Falcon and Winter Soldier was good, but it wasn't spectacular. You know, I would put Winter Soldier and Moon Knight on the same level. They were good, worth watching. Lots of what I crave in a Marvel movie, but it wasn't like, you know, hey, here. You know, to me, it felt kind of like watching the first Thor movie. For me, the first Thor movie was a bridge movie.
Yeah.
You know, it had a lot of good establishing stuff, but it was meant to link two things together more. And that was kind of its purpose all along. I think that's what I feel like Winter Soldier and Moon Knight are. You know, there's obviously way more to be gleaned from Moon Knight than what we have right now. And that'll probably that'll be down the road and stuff like that, but it'll be there. Mm-hmm. Winter Soldier obviously was the bridge because of the next Captain America movie. And it established Bucky finally getting over his stuff and being able to move forward with his life. Again, how that plays out down the road, who knows?
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to Secret Invasion. Okay. And Ms. Marvel will be interesting and She-Hulk will be interesting. The next one that'll probably grab me, if they do it right, will be Daredevil. And we're talking at least a year out.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta tell you, that She-Hulk trailer was rough.
Oh,
it's rough. Yeah, it's very rough.
That was rough.
They've already announced and shown pictures of touching up the CG. They went back and looked at it and got that Sonic the Hedgehog look in their
Uncanny
eyes.
Valley. Yeah, it's awful. It looked like Shrek or a female Shrek.
Yeah, it was, they went back and looked at it and said, okay, that's not going to make the cut. Let's go back and pour money into it.
Yeah.
And they've shown a couple of stills of the improvements, and it's getting there.
Yeah, you just got to tweak it just a little bit, guys.
I mean, the trailer itself, as far as content,
Jesus.
great. Now you're doing it. Great.
No, it's fine. I consistently try to kill myself as I drink because I want to aspirate liquid into my lungs.
Yeah, great. Well, do it on camera so everybody can witness.
I've always loved the movie Abyss, so I always want to try to recreate that, even though I know this is not oxygenated water.
Yeah, it sounds good. I like it.
Look, I'm Aquaman. Yeah.
Now I can go talk to my fish as I die. Freaking Fifth Element.
Yeah. So yeah, but as far as like the content of the She-Hulk trailer, it looks like it could be a good story.
Mm-hmm.
The failing right now could be the effects. So hopefully they are working on that. The story, because it looks like it's going to be basically Hulk training She-Hulk for at least a good chunk of it, which is cool because you get to see a little more of Hulk because Mark Ruffalo is actually killing it.
I just feel that it's going to be too comedic, honestly.
It might be, but then again, the She-Hulk comic books are pretty comedic.
True.
What?
You just got to have the right writer to actually, go behind the scenes of Saturday Night Live, the older guys who actually knew how to write comedy. Get them on board.
I think you're hearing something inside your house, David.
No. I'm sorry. I was actually talking to my brother about this over the weekend, where I was telling him that it's starting to feel like everyone else is catching up to how I've felt about the Marvel movies for years now. Where, like you said, I think there's gonna be too much humor in it. When I was telling people 2 years ago, I'm just not a big fan of the Guardians movies because there's a little too much humor in it. They're like, what are you talking about? It's the best part about this movie, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, okay. All right.
No, I will agree with you. Part 2, they did a little more humor than they probably was necessary, especially at the end with Thor. They're trying to buddy comedy it or whatever, The first one had the right amount of humor with it because of the seriousness of with the stone and everything.
But see, the first ones were that the formula that became Marvel started.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the touchstone point that I always go back to is like right around that time is when they started defaulting to that style. And it was just Guardians was just a little too much for me. The first one. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. It was just every single scene that had any serious tone to it just instantly got undercut every single time. Or at least it was happening with enough frequency that whenever there were serious moments, my brain had become trained to look for, okay, where's the joke coming from? Where's the joke? Wait, is it coming? Oh, it's not. We're going to the next scene. Oh, that was weird. I wasn't used to that. Okay, I guess Drax wasn't there for a second. And I don't know. It's again, that movie is where it started, where I started kind of saying, you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of this, and moved on down the line. But
I'll agree with that assessment on 2. 2 was definitely the way you described it. Okay, 1, I'd have to go back and rewatch it to go back and refresh myself, but definitely I feel that there was too much humor squeezed in. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think about the approach that they're taking with the later Thor movies with Taika there? The way they're injecting the humor into that.
So I think I'm already on record saying that I quit Ragnarok 5 minutes in because I knew what was coming. It was just the second that movie starts and Thor is sitting before he's not sitting, he's tied up and hanging in front of Surtur, and they're talking. And as they're talking, he's slowly spinning. And as he was spinning, I realized this scene's going to drag on to the point where he's going to completely turn around. Please don't call attention to it. Please don't make a joke about it. Please don't say. And then sure enough, they crack a joke. And again, by the time that movie came out, I realized I just wasn't really a fan of that side of it. And I probably need to go back and rewatch Ragnarok, because I didn't give it a fair shake, because I was just tired of all that stuff at the time. So yeah, I do not have very fond memories of Ragnarok. I know Ragnarok's the one that made Thor for so many people, right? That was the one that just blew up and everybody loved, and oh my God, it's so amazing. And now Love and Thunder is going to be so great. I mean, not that the first two Thor movies were all that better. Like you said, right? The first Thor movie, I enjoyed well enough. It actually surprised me. I thought it balanced the overall story of Thor pretty well. The Dark World is it is like it is like a melatonin. I have tried to watch it on 3 separate occasions, and all 3 separate occasions I have fallen asleep at some point during that movie, without fail. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it's just the timing that I try to sit down and watch it, but it has put me to sleep every single time I've tried to watch it.
It's been a while since I watched it. I enjoyed it, but and especially talking with Dad about it, but I have no memory of it right now. I mean,
I have some memory of it. It just,
yeah. It's not one of the ones I went to go rewatch. I think I've only watched it once.
Yeah. I will say this for Ragnarok, David, about a little over halfway to 3/4 of the way through it, it does take a couple of really dark turns.
It's great. I really
it takes a very serious shift.
Yeah.
So this is one thing that I was actually talking to my brother about, because he and I got into the topic of the new Thor movie, right? And he is, again, you got to take this with a grain of salt, in the sense that me and my brother are both a little have been tired of the Marvel formula for a little while now. But my brother was a huge Thor fan when the God Butcher storyline was going on, right? And he doesn't understand how you can do Thor hanging out with the Guardians, Jane Foster Thor, and the God Butcher all in the same movie. And he's also not very impressed with the way Gorr looks. But the way he was describing it to me was like the 2 secondary points, the Jane Foster Thor and especially the God Butcher, could be their own movie. Like, there's enough meat on the bone to each of those things that they could and probably should be their own separate movie, but they're just kind of cramming it all down into this one.
Right.
So for my brother, he wants to go see it because he wants to go see how well they do the God Butcher story, but he just doesn't see how they're going to be able to evenly balance
That's a good
everything that's going on.
Yeah. Travis brought up one interesting point. The whole God the Gorr Butcher story in the comic books, they required 3 Thors to help resolve it. You've already got 2. So does that mean that Beta Ray Bill is going to show
That'd
up?
be great. That'd be fantastic.
But then you're adding another layer, like David said, you're adding another layer or something that,
Well, they've technically already kind of shown that he exists in the universe, because
because was it Ragnarok?
In Ragnarok, when he's on
He's on the statue there, the tower.
So who knows?
He was one of the bigger champions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he survived that, or he was on that world for a little while, then yeah. But again, if they were to introduce him on top of Jane, on top of the Guardians, on top of Gorr, I mean, you're turning it into a whole Marvel buffet.
Well, and what really threw me off, and I didn't go look up to see if this was true, but he was telling me that rumor is this is shaping up to be one of the shortest Marvel films they've ever done.
Oh,
like
wow.
It barely clocks in at 2 hours is what he said he read somewhere. And I'm like, man, if that's true, if it's barely clocking in at maybe 2 hours,
that's half hour per point.
And you're having to resolve Thor with the Guardians, introducing Foster Thor, and you're having to do God Butcher. I don't know how you do all that in 2 hours. I mean, not.
Well, have we gotten? I didn't get from the impression from the trailer that he's with the Guardians a whole long time.
No, but there has
It's
to be at least
the beginning
like,
of it is
so-
what I understand.
Yeah, but so what is it going to be? He's going to show up with the Guardians. They're going to have a little moment, and then he's immediately going to leave. Like, because you still have him traveling around with them, going to see the Greek gods. Like, is that just going to be a quick little transitional scene? Is it going to be the training montage? Is that what?
Well, the
that's gonna be?
possibility of us being able to see,
Montage of him?
true. Well, because there's a scene where he's getting in shape. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Thing is that it's done via flashback.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it's
Mhm.
Cord telling the story. Maybe Cord. Maybe that starts off with Cord telling the story, and maybe that's how they
yeah, they kind of
first bring in
speed it up.
Cord.
Yeah.
They intermingle bits of where he's going around doing his thing, and then somewhere Jane would get introduced. At least try and fold it together a little bit through a narrative of some kind would help.
Yeah.
Well,
Like I
since
said, it
yeah,
was
go
just kind of it was an interesting thought my brother had because again he was big into the Thor comics when that storyline was going on. So I think he might just be a little salty of the fact that it isn't its own standalone movie. It's not actually just about gore. It's all this other crap and intertwined with it, which who knows? It might turn out to be pretty good. Honestly, like a lot of the Marvel stuff coming out, I don't know, man. Not a lot of it's caught my eye. The one thing I was the most interested in of that whole slate that they announced was Blade, but that was mainly because I was curious if they were actually going to go Deadpool with it and do if Marvel was going to actually come out and put together a rated R Blade movie and what that would look like and be, because that I'd be kind of interested in if they would be able to pull that off. But then now there's been no talk of that movie whatsoever. It's like it just faded off into the distance, and now no one gives a crap about Blade anymore.
Yeah, they've announced a director and a writer. That's about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But Travis again pointed out an interesting point. Why didn't they go with a black English actor? Blade is British, apparently. Properly.
Is he?
In the
Is
comics.
he? Every version of Blade I've ever seen has just been basically Wesley Snipes in every iteration of that character. And I didn't realize that there were any superheroes that came from anywhere except for New York City in Marvel.
And everything takes place in New York City. It's the only city that exists in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Get out of New York State, West Coast Avengers.
They're in New Jersey,
It's
Yeah, that's where the West Coast and the Avengers are. They're
on the furthest most East Coast.
Yeah.
They're just a little bit further. They're just a little further west of New York. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh man.
So, well, here's the question though. Going back to Star Wars, with that, the fact that Taika Waititi is doing, Love and Thunder and everything, right? So he's got the director goal for can't speak, but he's going to be taking on a Star Wars movie.
Huh.
Yeah, he's been one of the people that's going to be taking on directing a movie.
I mean, he does good work, right? Like he's a really good, competent director. So
and he can handle cast ensembles.
Yes, he can. So I'd be curious to see what he could put together for that.
I'm wondering if it's not going to be straight full canon movie or if it's going to be one of the offshoots.
Please be an offshoot, for the love of God. Please.
Yeah.
Well, so
let's make sure they can.
Let's give him the Jawa project.
Yeah, exactly. The Jawa project we just came up with.
That's right.
Let's give that to him. That could be tons of fun. That's right up his alley.
Well, so the question would be, are we going to get an injection of comedy into Star Wars
Most likely
more than normal?
I would say yes, depending on seeing as how it's Disney and he probably got hired because of the work he did for the two Thor movies. I mean, he probably, they said, okay, you know what? You're already in the stable. Let's put you toward this. It depends on which project he's getting from me.
True. Very true.
Because there's plenty of stuff out there that can have humor in it. Have, as long as it's not the main course. If it's only one of the side dishes, you're fine, I think.
Well, if they were gonna do Timothy Zahn's Scoundrels as a movie, I think it'd be perfect for directing that.
Yeah.
Han Lando on a heist to steal an artifact from this elite person on a planet with a ragtag group of people he hires to do the job. Be fantastic. But that's something I was going to bring back to with this, is the fact that, like, that's one of the things I love about Kenobi is its seriousness. There's not a whole lot of comedy at all in this. You feel the weight of what happened with, once the Emperor took over. And that's one of the things I love about how Kenobi's going right now. At least so far for the first 2 episodes.
And I have to give a good chunk of that credit to Ewan McGregor. Having him reprise Obi-Wan Kenobi it's having him come back, that right there, and him being the lead in it, that's a lot. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of, he'll put a little levity if necessary, but he's going to carry the role the way he feels it should, and he's already got it down.
But he
knows what he's doing.
But at the same time, right? It's not like the entire show is nothing but like a morose, like depressing thing. There is little moments of levity, like whenever he does interact with that Jawa and.
Oh yeah, no.
And those are
those are well placed comedy. It's well placed to like lighten the tension. It's not like so ham-fisted, what we got with the Guardians. What we're probably going to be getting with Love and Thunder. Even though I look forward to Love and Thunder, I look for the possibilities. Since they're going to the Greek gods, of being able to see Hercules. Yeah. In the Marvel universe, but I'm over the weekend they did like, I guess, Star Wars Celebration. So they started showing some of the
upcoming
stuff. Yeah. So there was the teaser for Mandalorian season 3. Sorry.
No. I agree. It is season 4 because we already got season 3. It was 2 episodes long, and it was
technically,
yeah.
Mandalorian 2.5.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff they mishandled with Boba, but what are you
gonna do? But Mandalorian season 3 trailer looked really good. And there was supposedly an image with I don't know if it's true or not. I have to look it up, but it looked like we're going to get to see more Grogu probably using his force powers than before, because he's going to have more of his memories unlocked. So he's going to have those 50 years of training or 30 years of training of being a Padawan at the time that he'll be able to pull off of.
Right.
So since he's 50 years old, you think that he was in his 30s at the time of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. For me, the big takeaway on the whole Disney weekend or Fun Fest or whatever the hell they called it was Harrison Ford introducing the stills for Indy 5. For me, the stills that they showed look good. I have hope for it. Kathleen Kennedy has said there's not going to be any movies without him. I don't believe that for a second.
I don't either. Yeah. But without Indiana Jones, not without Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with the wordplay there.
I'm going to stand by Crystal Skull not being Harrison Ford's fault, not being George Lucas's fault. I blame Shia LaBeouf. I blame him start to finish on that movie. He just made that thing a train wreck. Swinging with monkeys. He's one way 1 minute, one way the other minute. Just, dude, pack it up and go home. That to me, I will to my dying breath blame him for the ineptitude of what happened in 4. But otherwise, it was a great story, a lot of potential. Reuniting with Marion was great. Bad acting choice for Shia LaBeouf.
But he wasn't the one that did the CG anthills, and he also wasn't the one in the fridge.
No, but you might as well blame him for those too.
Hey, you know what? But that gave us one of the greatest Easter eggs for Fallout New Vegas.
Yes,
No. That was 4.
that was.
Was it? No, I thought that was New Vegas. You sure?
It was all. No. It was in Fallout 4.
I don't know.
If there's a reference in New Vegas, I guarantee you there's one in 4
Fallout New
too.
Vegas.
Yeah, you find that
Uh,
fridge, man. I thought it was
Something
New
about the
Vegas.
refrigerator in the desert.
No, I guarantee you that's
What one
4.
was it? Was it Fallout New Vegas or was it Fallout 4?
New Vegas.
New Vegas.
Yeah, dude, because it was in
Patrick
Nevada.
says New Vegas.
I swear that they do one in Fallout 4 too.
Well, which one came out first?
New Vegas.
Well, then
Yeah.
maybe they just replayed it in Fallout 4. I mean,
Oh, it's
if
a
it's
kid
a fridge in the
fridge.
desert, it could just stay.
Yeah, it's like
there's
that's
a
just the
kid.
kid in the
There-
fridge. That's the one
That's
about the
right.
kid that's locked in the fridge that's turned into a ghoul.
That's become
Okay,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was New
that's
Vegas.
right.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah, now that you said that part, yeah.
I need to replay New Vegas.
Yeah, I do
I'm
too,
missing
man.
that.
It's just so good.
Dude, the best, that's where I'm really hoping that the next Fallout game that they do, whenever it is they get around to it, they do away with all. If they don't do away with all of it, I hope they get rid of most of the village building bullshit from 4 and invest more time into their guns because, man, New Vegas, the amount of freaking guns in that game, holy crap.
But you're talking about Obsidian versus
No, I know.
versus
I know.
Bethesda, who
I know.
have just retooled and re-released Skyrim to no end. And all this
Well,
time
in
they could have done
fairness-
another Fallout game.
In fairness, the reason why the reason why that is because they've been on the online
Yes.
kick with the Elder Scrolls Online
76.
and the absolute dumpster fire that was 76.
6, yeah. Man, I was so hyped for that game, dude. And it was like, oh wow.
Oh,
I mean, my best friend Jeff played it and loved it with his it has its problems, but you know, him and his brother just played through it but it's just I can't do it, man.
I mean, anything's good if you got the right people to play it with, right? Anything can be fun as long as you
Yeah.
got the right people into
that's
it.
very true.
But yeah, it's like they started going towards that business model and they've dallied on Starfield and Fallout and a new Elder Scrolls iteration that isn't just the online version. I mean, shoot, Starfield got pushed back, right? It's like, what the hell are you, like, y'all just came out with another expansion for friggin' ESO. Where's anything else? What are you guys doing? You did your stupid what was it, mobile version of Blades or whatever the hell it was called. It's like, all right, stop doing this crap over here, and can y'all focus on like the next iteration of the stuff that people actually care about from you guys? I don't know. It's got to be like Destiny, right? Where all the online stuff just makes them more money because it's less effort to go in and more return. Who knows?
Yeah.
Bean counters are the death of so much.
Man, Fallout
Yeah.
4.
And
was
we're
so
not talking
good.
burritos.
No. It was
No.
sad, but it's what it is. There's more than enough games to play in the interim. They'll eventually get around to it, maybe one of these days. I'm sure Outer Worlds 2 will be out before the next Elder Scrolls or Fallout. So
Yeah, so we can at least have that in space. This was great.
right.
Yeah.
I can have
But-
something.
There was some stills for Ahsoka, and looks like they cast Mary Elizabeth Winstead to play Hera Syndulla.
Hmm.
At least it's rumored.
That's interesting.
So, and they've already cast someone to play young Ezra, which is the guy from Aladdin, and they have someone for Sabine.
What's the one with Diego Luna that's coming?
Oh, Andor. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. That should be fun if done right.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna get more Forrest Whitaker's Saw Gerrera. It'd be cool.
That was an interesting character. It got you underutilized, I think. That had potential.
And then there's a possibility that we're gonna have. I mean, we could have the bounty hunters in that series.
Yeah. Which would be
Honestly,
nice.
Of all the stuff I saw, I'm just looking forward to Fallen Order 2.
Yes, I am too. Survivor.
Yes.
Yeah.
That first game was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. I'll be curious to see how they expand on it. Hopefully they do good on this one and do a good job of just just expanding it, making it cooler, giving you more abilities, more just opening it up a little bit more. I think would be fun.
Well, I want to be able to have the option to have him run around with 2 lightsabers instead of just the regular 1 lightsaber plus his double bladed.
Yeah. It's kind of been a dream for a lot of people.
Yeah, man. KOTOR was the only one that we got that in, really.
Man,
1 and 2.
When Darth Maul ignited that double-bladed lightsaber in Phantom Menace, that's the only one I ever cared about from that point on. I was like, yeah, you can do your little toot. No, give me double-bladed. I'm perfectly good. And then you got all the weird ones from like the comics, right? Where you've got like the whips and the javelins and spears and all sorts of other weird shit. It's like, yeah, let's just stick to swords, guys. Just like swords and double-bladed swords, and we'll call it good. Don't need to get that nuts with it.
Well, and then we got the the Inquisitors with their spinning blades.
And then the anime one with the umbrella.
I still haven't watched that yet. I need to, but I haven't watched it yet.
Like I said, of the like dozen or so episodes, I think there was 3, maybe 4 that I came out of and was like, yeah, I enjoyed that. That was good. One of them specifically, I think it was the last one. I kind of wish that they would actually expand on that world a little bit more. It'd be pretty interesting, but I haven't heard anything about any of that. So just take what you get. Hope it's good.
So still nothing on Rogue Squadron either. So we'll see.
You know what I'd like to see when in some Star Wars thing is all the trial and error stuff that some of the Jedis go through. They always seem to have it right after almost no time at all. I want to see where you light it up and all of a sudden you've got, like a tree trunk coming out of it, or this little flimsy little beam of light or something like that. The not so perfect moments.
Oh, like Kylo Ren's lightsaber the whole way through.
That was a good one.
He couldn't stabilize that power if he wanted to. It was so bad that he had to have exhaust ports on the side to make it look like a cross guard. We wanted him to have a great sword. Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man. Hey, you got to have a little bit of vision, right, to make it a little interesting. Just a little bit of that extra visual flair to really draw people in, I think.
a one-time crossover, have Reed Richards design lightsabers
with unstable molecules. And made out of Beskar that you can use to reflect and completely negate lightsabers. One's a shuriken, it's all 4 and he just throws it around, and hopefully when it comes around he doesn't cut his arm off.
Have one that's like them slap braces. Just
Slap
hit
brace.
the other one, wrap it around it, and just yank it away from him.
There you go.
No, then the Johnny Mnemonic whip, man. That would have been the little finger attachment.
That'd be good. Yeah, that'd be good. Speaking of that, though, like Johnny Mnemonic, all that, one bit of news that seemed like it went under everybody's radar, mainly probably because it's waiting to see what they do. But the selling of Eidos, right? Square getting rid of them, dropping that off, be like, yeah, we're just gonna sell Eidos Montreal with Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and Thief, and all this other goodness. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Maybe we can finally get something out of these people other than Marvel's Avengers and Guardians. Maybe they can go back to doing.
Well, they were supposed to be getting another Tomb Raider at some point.
I want, you know what I have wanted, because I never got the chance to play the game. Like, I played the game for a little. I think I played the demo of that game, or like I borrowed it from a friend for like an afternoon. But I want to see Legacy of Kain and Soul Reaver again, right? And that's that. That's them. That's that studio. They're the ones that own that. It's like, okay, cool. Now that you guys are free from Square, while they're focusing on their Japan side of things, because they're killing it on the JRPG and the tactics stuff, right? It's like, maybe now y'all can turn around and focus on your Western games and not gas games, and do something with maybe you haven't seen in a while. Because man, I would love to get, even if it's just like a remaster of the old Legacy of Kain and Soul Reaver, right? It'd be cool to be able to get back into that world and play in that again. And then I love Deus Ex, so I want them to finish that friggin' story. Crying out loud.
Yeah.
Well, I just started playing Triangle Strategies. It's pretty fun. It's got a lot of talking in it. I mean, I'm like, dude, I've had 3 combat sessions in the 2 hours I've played, and it's like, okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit. It's like, why isn't there more combat?
Are you sure you're not playing a Metal Gear game?
Yeah, no, tell me about it. I just got to like the one of the kingdoms. You like escort. You get the option to escort 2 of the representatives from these 2 different kingdoms back to their area. You get to choose which one you go to, and it's like, you travel there by boat, no combat. You travel there to go talk to the spiritual ruler of the town, no combat. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn this off. I'm getting bored here a minute. It's just like, I need more. I mean, it's like Final Fantasy Tactics. It's like you had just combat after combat, story, combat, story, combat. It's like, come on, guys, stick to the formula that worked. It's great that you have voice actors doing the dialogue and everything, but then you're not going to pay them again to do all the dialogue. I hate that in games. You pay a voice actor to do this, and they only do like certain cutscenes that with the voice actor. Then it's like, as you're walking around talking to these NPCs, you have to read the text.
Yeah, man. You can't do fully voiced on stuff like that. Are you kidding me? It's way
Not
too
on
much
their
dialogue.
budget.
That's way too much dialogue.
Pay the money
And
for it.
then you'd have multiple voice options. It'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, man, come on, Fallout. Bethesda does it all the time. No, but I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the combat system. It's been a long time coming being able to play a tactical RPG, because I haven't really gotten into the last Fire Emblem game at all. I have it, I just haven't had time. And I was like, this is supposed to be very, very much like Tactics, so that's why I jumped on this before I went over to Fire Emblem.
Yeah, the last Fire Emblem game, it's turned so much into like, if you want, I'm bad about trying to be the completionist side, and there is so much crap to do in the like little hub world. It's like, all right, I need to run around this entire map and go pick up all these little items, and I need to go talk to this person over here and that person over there, and this little quest to go over talk to that person over there, and I need to give this guy a fish. And it's like, there's so much minuscule little shit to do in that school portion of it that I'll sit there and be playing for like an hour and realize, shit, I haven't done the next battle. I really need to get to that. And it's just like, it's this weird like sense of tedium though, because it's not really, it's just shit tons of fetch quests basically. And then like I'll go and I'll start a quest and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to like go and do a mini battle in between fighting stuff. And I don't know, that one didn't grab me as much. And then the fact that the story is the same no matter who you pick, like that was kind of upsetting. It was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go this route with these people, and like whenever the big climactic event happens, it's like no matter who you picked, you then just get funneled back to, oh yeah, we need you to be here, and now you're back to here, and then progress through the story as if your choice didn't matter whatsoever. So it's like, all right, don't give me the choice if you're not going to do anything with it, because that's stupid.
Yeah.
Just if you want to tell your story, great, tell your story, and let's take it and let's do that route with it. But don't give me this idea that, oh yeah, it'll be different, right? You can have some kind of influence on the world or whatever that's going on. But
Yeah, that's for sure, because
That's
I mean,
fair.
you know, we can't be all Persona 4 and 5 with, you know, you have a couple questions you interact with and some dialogue for during the day at school, and then you're right into the dungeon at night. So, you know, you're getting that whole like formula like tactics. It's like story, combat, story, combat, story, combat. And it's like you're not too long from a moment where you're going to be running around a dungeon. You know.
yeah. But also you're early in the game, so maybe it'll pick up as you move along, right?
I'm hoping so, man. And I'm hoping like I miss the job system, because I don't think that's a thing in this game. Your characters just get new skills and stuff and get better at combat. I do like the characters. You do have like branching paths on like decisions you make, decide like how certain things go. There's some kind of like affinity system where like, you know, depending on your actions affect other characters in the game. So I don't know how well that's going to go. If that's going to affect like relationships. I just really didn't look into it. I just went into the game blindly. So, I mean, I saw the trailer back in the day when it was announced and I knew I wanted to play it, but I'm enjoying it. I need to kind of get back to it probably sometime this week, because I know tomorrow, you know, we'll have the podcast episode that should have went up 2 weeks ago released, and I'll be playing Tekken that tomorrow night. And then I know that Thursday, a couple of the buddies I'm on Discord with want to play Call of Duty, so I'm gonna play with them for a little while on Thursday.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, when you're doing the tech and stuff,
Mhm.
is that how are you doing that live? You just going to YouTube live, or you
No,
doing-
so on the PS5 and the PS4, you have the ability to stream directly to YouTube,
Oh, okay.
and you just kind of go live and you're streaming the game. All the capture equipment is built into, or the software is built into the PS4, PS5 architecture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was curious about that.
Now I can do a little bit more if I was probably just, instead of it doing like I do it, where I would just stream from the system, but I cooked it up to my Elgato and stream from my computer. But my computer's in my room and my PS4, PS5 is in the living room. So I might move my PS4 into the bedroom so that way I can do it that way and not have to deal with it. Because we've been dealing with like a lot of disconnection from the network. We're getting kicked out of our game. So I don't know if it's just because it's trying to, one, play online, two, stream. Because I've been able to stream normally fine. But, you know, it's really, I don't know. But there's a lot of people having this issue. So I don't think it's necessarily anything on my end, or the system can't handle it. It could be something on the Tekken servers with Namco Bandai.
Everybody training for Evo, man.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm not going to be going to Evo this year because me and Adrian decided that we're going to wait till next year, because with the new changeover with my job, the attorney with that, and then him having a baby in August or around that time,
Yeah.
you know, it's just a good time for us just to kind of like save our money and stuff and prepare for next year. Gives us more time to train, get better.
Gotta get good, man.
Yeah, got to get good. But
Wow.
yeah, anything you guys want to add or anything like that? Like,
No,
How's-
this is-
David, how's your boy's journey in gaming?
He's just plugging along, right? Still sticking with all the strategy RTS deals. The one that he and I have gotten into a little bit. So back on the PS4, there was a game that came out called Salt and Sanctuary, which is like a Souls type 2D platformer game, right?
Mhm.
It's a ton of fun. Loved it. Great game. And then the same studio that did that came out with a sequel to it called Salt and Sacrifice. So that's been out, and he and I have been kind of playing our ways through that. But they changed up the formula a lot in this game, and I don't know that I'm a fan of it. Like, instead of you having normal boss, like you progress through an area and eventually get to an area boss, right? Now you progress through an area and you run into the boss, but instead of immediately fighting the boss, the boss like starts teleporting all around the level, and you have to like chase after them and continually just fight them like over and over again.
Mhm.
And the whole time you're fighting them, they're spawning all these little jobber enemies and all this bullshit. And then eventually you get to where I guess they're technically their boss room is, and then you can finally fight and defeat them. But it's so tedious to have to like fight your way through a level, get to a dude, and then have to fight him and everything else back through the level to some other point to then go and do it. I don't know. And then after that, that boss, that thing that you fought that you spent like so long hunting for so like throughout this whole thing, after you beat it, that thing can then just randomly spawn in different areas of the level as you're progressing through it. So it's weird. I don't know that I'm the biggest fan of it. It's a hard game, man. So he and I have been kind of back and forthing on that, but for the most part, he's been sticking to playing his little strategy games. And him and his sister are now role playing on some Roblox game where they're cats. I don't fully understand it. It honestly reminds me of one of the first experiences I ever had with an internet chat room. I was over at a buddy's house, and at the time we were young. Dragon Ball Z was in full swing. Goku was just about to land to fight the Ginyu Force, only to start all the way back over to the Raditz Saga for the millionth time, because that was Dragon Ball Z back in the day. And I remembered sitting down, and he was in a chat room with a bunch of people, and I'm sitting there and I'm reading the chats as they're going by, and it was a bunch of nerds pretending to fight each other, right? Piccolo 23466 uses the Senko blast to hit so and so in the chest, blowing a hole through his chest and killing him. And then that same guy who just supposedly got a hole blown through his chest with a Masenko is like, I use Kaioken times 30 and instant transmission behind you and tear your head off with my bare hands. And I'm like, so one guy just had a hole blown through his chest, but at the same time he teleported behind the guy and tore his head off. So which one of these two realities is true? Because they can't both be true. And I just remember like reading, and it never ended. And then it would just devolve into people arguing about, no, man, I killed you like a while ago because I did this. And someone else being like, no, man, I countered with this. And there was just no rules to it. It was stupid as shit. It made no sense. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Let's go do anything else than this garbage. And that's what they've kind of found their way into. They're on this little Roblox game with weird animals, and they role play. And the whole time I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I've given them both the talk of, communicating to randos on the internet. But just like I've sat there and I've watched, and the second I started watching the chat as it's going by, I was like, I remember this. I remember seeing this once. It didn't make sense to me then, and it doesn't make sense to me now. But apparently people enjoy it, I guess.
I tried to be one of those guys. I got in one of those one time, and I was like, all right, so how do we figure out how this is going to work? So we have virtual dice, so we like roll it and stuff. No, we just type over. No, guys, I can't do this then. No. We need to know we need to have some kind of probability. We need to have some kind of like, your roll beats my roll.
There just needs to be someone there who says what reality is, right? Like, that's the point. Because again, these two things cannot have occurred concurrently. Otherwise, you're both dead. which, hey, that could be an an option as well. But there needs to be something that defines exactly what happened. Otherwise, it's just noise and nonsense. So, which, hey, if that's what you enjoy, good on you. But I can't do it. I just can't.
Just something I'll add before we kind of wrap up, I guess, because I started playing. I picked up Sifu, and
Okay.
man, that game's pretty fun, and it reminds me of like actually playing a video game version of the raid. You know, because you get in these situations, there's like enemies all around you, and you're like attacking one and then breaking off to attack to another. You got like a parry system. You have a dodge roll. You have like light and heavy attacks. And depending on what like directions you use while you're fighting, you can do different like palm strikes or, you know, reversal throws. And man, I was doing really good until I got to the first boss, the botanist. Man, like I think I aged like 40 years trying to fight him. And I was like, geez, man, I was doing really good. What the heck's going on? I had no problem getting up to him. And oh geez. So it's like you just realize how you're not great at the game right away. You know, so it's like I think I can take on most of these guys. It's just the bosses because you don't do a lot of damage. So it's like all this combo things that you're doing to, you know, to beat these enemies. And you know, the best thing I found so far is like picking up weapons are great. You know, you find a bottle here, a pipe here, or some kind of like rod, like a stick or something, and you're just beating the crap out of guys and stuff. And then you can like sucker punch them and stuff or come up behind them. You don't do like special like takedown moves, but you have like you'll do more damage when they're not paying attention from you behind versus like if they were, you know, facing up front. But yeah, it's great. I'm enjoying it so far. Good little revenge story so far. But like I said, it reminds me of the raid.
Nice. Yeah, I need to pick it up. It's on my list of shit I need to get.
Yeah.
Instead, I got dumb. I had a bunch of free Amazon money, and I got Showdown in Little Tokyo. I got Romancing the Stone. I got Excalibur, The Quick and the Dead, the Sean Connery Bond Collection Volume 1,
Nice.
and then the Blu-ray release of Ronin Warriors. And like everything except for Ronin Warriors was at most like $12.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot. The most expensive thing I got
Oh, here we go.
was the first volume of the IDW Turtles,
Which is good.
which is a sweet dude. This hardback is fucking awesome. So I've been meaning to pick up this series forever,
Mhm.
and I finally was just like looking. It came up on my list. Like I said, I had because I've got the Amazon card, right? So I accrue Amazon bucks basically. I had enough Amazon bucks where I was like, you know what? I don't feel bad
Purchasing that. Yeah.
finally. So
Yeah. The only thing I
Sure.
picked up recently was the book wise was two things. I picked up Batman Earth 1 Volume 3. So I read through that. That was really good with the Two-Face storyline. And then the Green Lantern one. And I'm working my way through that one.
nice. It's good, man. All right.
Colin, what were you gonna add?
I'm just trying to think of what I did new recently besides this. I got a rolling rack with a power amp. Does that count?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It allowed this to happen. So
So if you ever need a guy who's a hacker in a movie, Colin's your man.
There you go.
oh my goodness. Now, you know people are gonna be flooding in.
Yeah, you're gonna make that movie and it's like, hey, this guy right here.
I actually got a phone call last week from one of the guys at church. He's a wrestling coach.
Mhm.
He wanted to hire me to do a documentary on some local wrestlers.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So He wanted to know what I would charge him for it. So, but gonna go up and shoot all the footage and do all the music and everything for it.
You can
Don't know
have
when
it.
that's gonna happen, but hey, it'd be my first actual documentary, which I'm cool about because I love documentaries.
Mhm.
So, could open
Yeah.
a door. Who knows?
True.
Nice.
Every one of these things open up a possibility to new windows of
Yep.
Well, there you go. You can just tell the football team that you're interviewing, hey, you should check out this podcast.
There you go.
Word of mouth will spread it around, and we'll gain more subscribers.
There you go.
So, which is something I was going to say is that as of this episode, when we're recording on 5/31, we have hit 140. So
That's not bad. We're gaining some traction.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for
Yes,
subscribing
absolutely.
and watching the content. So, but yeah, that was the other thing too. I was going to add before we go is that I was on a podcast just recently with the Retroactive Trio. We discussed vintage versus modern toy collecting. Had a really great time. About 2-hour long episode. Check it out. I'll put a link in the description and everything. But I really enjoyed doing that. Those guys are really awesome. And I had a really deep voice. So I was like, oh yeah, this because of COVID. But yeah, no. So they do a really good job with like ranging topics and everything. And I'm glad I'm being able to be invited to these different podcasts for just the different knowledge I know. For some reason, it seems like when we record these episodes, my brain's like not here. But everyone, thanks for joining us in this episode. Tell us down below what you've been doing lately. Hopefully everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. And y'all had, great barbecue, some drinks, fun times with friends. And, tell us how y'all's weekend was. Tell us what you want to see in a new episode of us discussing on a podcast. And until then, have a great one.
Deuces.